Well, President Trump did blink, pulling back on the most extreme tariffs on every country except for China, on which he imposed those 125% levies. While the markets have reacted enthusiastically, U.S. standing in the world has dramatically shifted under the president's leadership. Let's bring in someone who knows a lot about leadership. That's Bill George. He's former chairman and CEO of Medtronic, an executive fellow at Harvard Business School. Bill, you've taught and written for decades about management and leading with conscience and leadership generally. What did you think of the leadership on display today and behind this decision?
We have a president who thrives on chaos, uncertainty, loves to negotiate. He set the bar very high to his favor on negotiating, and he loves power over others, and he loves power over the markets. He just caused the market to swing wildly, and I think he thrives on this kind of chaos. Now, put yourself in a position, I've been with a lot of life science CEOs lately. Put yourself in a position of one of those CEOs who's got a major business globally, big business in the US, China, Europe, all over the world. What's that CEO going to do? And, he doesn't know he can't predict his tariffs. He seen a couple of his competitors go to Trump and offer new factories. He knows a new factory won't be up and running until well after this administration's over. And he's being cut back on his R&D from NIH. And I think what he's going to do is pause. He's not going to make any investments in the United States until he gets some clarity, because CEOs thrive on exactly the opposite. They want clarity and stability. And so I think that's the dichotomy that's going on right now between the White House and by the way, I think that this president loves tariffs, and I think he always has. I think for the reason I mentioned, it gives him power. Even if the rest of the world doesn't. Now, the big issue here is China, though. Let's not underestimate. It's really a two country real power world. And if we're playing this game with China, and I don't think President Xi can back down, I don't think President Trump's going to back down. So we talk 125%. This is crazy. Now, I would point out China's only 13% of their exports go to the United States, so that's only less than 1/7. So they will focus on other countries, and I expect China to draw much closer. They've done it with Africa, they've done it in Latin America. You'll see them draw much closer to Europe and to other. Already started with other Asian nations. So long term, this is great damage to the trust people have in the U.S. In effect, we've destroyed 75% of relationship building in 75 days.
Bill, let me ask you, if you were still a CEO, Bill, and you were still running a big company, lots of responsibilities, a lot of employees depending on you, customers depending on you, what would you be doing, Bill? What would be your game plan? What would be your strategy? How would you be trying to navigate this?
I'd be very cautious of my investments. I have some M&A deals I'd like to do. I would hold off on those. I'd put them on hold because people are coming to me running numbers. We can't even run a good set of numbers. I'm going to continue with my R&D and my future investments, but I'm going to hold off any major new factory commitments. I'll continue the ones we've got. And more critically, and no one's talked about this yet, I think I might hold off on new hires. I might even put a considering a hiring freeze, because I know if we go into a recession, which a lot of wise people are talking about, then I want to preserve cash. So that's what I'm doing with capital, is not spending my capital.
Bill,
which is the opposite of what the White House wants.
Right, exactly. It's interesting to hear you say this on a day when we saw stocks behave as they did. And another comment by another Bill caught my eye. Bill Gross, formerly of PIMCO, of course, well-known veteran investor, tweeting today, "My portfolio of defensive stocks is green, so I don't begrudge today's market. But I ask you, would you want to own highly volatile U.S. stocks whose price depends on whether POTUS had a good night's sleep and woke up the next morning to reverse today's policies?" And I guess that would go for not just people who are investing in the market, but to your point, people who are investing in talent, in building factories, in any kind of capex here. So what I'm hearing from you loud and clear is that the decision today does not really change this fundamental conundrum that a lot of investors and CEOs are experiencing.
Absolutely. And I think CEOs widely, I've done a wide range of CEOs, they're going to hold off right now in making any kind of commitments. That's what they're telling me. So I'm not making this up. And by the way, it's interesting that here we have the president responding to Bill Ackman's idea of the 90-day pause. It was Ackman that had that idea. And I think he says he doesn't follow the market. Like he's following the market all the time. This was clearly a reaction to the market because he knew we could only take so much damage. But it's not, it's going to hurt the economy. It's going to hurt new investments. It's going to hurt growth going forward. And yes, it could easily throw us into a recession. And so you have to worry about going there. At least I would, and really worry about a trade war with China, where this is going to end. I would predict right now, this is not going to end well with the Chinese or with the Europeans for that matter. I think the Europeans I'm talking to, we've breached the trust of those Europeans.
Bill, final question. With this Trump tariff pause today, this reversal, I think some are looking at that, some investors, Bill, and they're saying, okay, does that tell us anything about who could be in pole position within this administration? Does that tell us anything who has the president's ear and confidence? Is it Team Besant or is it Team Navarro? You have a view on that, Bill, or do you think that's overthinking it?
I think it's Team Trump. I think he's going to make his own decisions. He's said that for many, many years. And Besant, Navarro, these people all have inputs. But I tell you, I think in the end, it's Trump going to decide, and he's going to decide on the spur of the moment. Don't think that this 90-day, as Besant suggests, was planned, this 90-day pause. There's no way. That was not paused at all. And by the way, on the financial side, the banks are way up today, but the only parts of the bank that are really going to benefit from this are the traders, because they like volatility. The M&A parts are not going to benefit. So we'll see. I would not count on this to hold for 90 days. I think we just have to wait and see what's going to happen here. I'm glad he paused because it's a little more calm for a little while, we hope.
Bill, always great to see you and to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me back. Pleasure to be here.